Hey everyone, welcome back with Phenom Mac. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2006. And we're going to continue with the storyline of Eddie Guerrero taking the Undertaker's urn so he can use it for his own sick devices here. They say whoever controls the, whoever has possession of the urn controls the Undertaker himself. And if you watched last episode, you will know that Eddie Guerrero has been using that power to just attack all the top superstars on SmackDown, presumably to be able to get a shot at the WWE Championship Gold. He asked us if we were going to join his side, and they could both, make it to the top of the WWE ladder together. We declined his offer, and we just kind of got our butts kicked at No Mercy when The Undertaker joined in and gave us not only a choke slam like he had given to Booker T and Kurt Angle, but he also gave us a pretty devastating looking tombstone pile driver. Sometimes, I mean, seriously, the cutscenes with the motion capture is pretty bad, but other times, like, it also somehow makes some moves look more devastating than would otherwise, which is interesting.
You've got to give this brave superstar credit. He refused to join with Eddie Guerrero in the demonic Undertaker, and now he specifically requested this match as a way to put an end to Latino Heat schemes. Yeah, but what happens if he wins, Cole?
Carlito was truly Caribbean cool at this time, folks. It's amazing when you really think about the Carlito character and just... there's not really anything there when you really think about it. I mean, as much as I like him, and Carlito is pretty charismatic and cool guy, all things considered, but I mean, like, where did they even come up with the idea of, like, okay, you're going to be this... your whole character is you're going to be cool, but you don't like people that aren't cool, and you're going to have this apple and you're going to spit in people's faces because they don't want to be cool. Like, when you really think about it, like, what the hell kind of a character is that to begin with? I mean, it works simply because it's Carlito, but it's definitely something, I don't know, I can't really describe my feelings on it accurately other than, like, this is one of the goofiest things. Oof. Yeah, so this was before they kind of added the... updated the ladder match physics or whatever. Not the physics, but... like, because in this game, it was still from, like, Smackdown 2, where, like, you just have to get up the ladder, press circle, and you'll hang on to the bell for, like, 5 seconds or something like that, and then you'll win.
If you ever wondered just how much punishment a human body could take, I think you're going to get an answer tonight. You might be right, Taz. It doesn't look like these superstars. Well, if they didn't want to, I
don't even know how I hit him with that.
They should have left him lying around.
That was awesome. But yeah, they kind of changed it up in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 and added the Money in the Bank match. I mean, that was phenomenal as well.
That's keeping them going. And pride's a powerful emotion.
And where, like, you actually have the meter that you have to drain, and you have to use the stamina was inputted in it. And in some respects, I think it was actually cool how they did it, but in another respect, I think they made it way too, like, in my experience with my friends who were casual game players and stuff like that, they did it in a way where it was just too confusing for them to be able to figure out how to win those matches. And honestly, Money in the Banks were some of the most fun you could have in multiplayer, so it's kind of... I think they just did too much with it, but I don't know. That'll be a complaint for, when I play 2007 or whatever. Also, Carlito, it's been a while since he was in it, but I mean, he was in a teeny bit of hot water quite a bit ago. Not too long ago when you think about it, only a few months ago, with the whole freaking, the backstage segment where, I forget who it was. I think it was Io Sky was walking away, and he said, "Oh man, I gotta learn Chinese." And people were saying about the WWE was racist and all this other stuff. And oh man, he might actually get it. He might actually get it. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I guess the AI is just like, all right, well, he's in the ring and he's standing, so I gotta. Damn. I'm trying to recharge my stamina, but I can't really do it reliably. There we go. That should keep him down for a while.
I mean, tell me the last time that you saw a WWE superstar only go halfway.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, I can't really see what my stamina looks like if I'm on that side of the screen because
it's a long fall.
Whenever I hit the record button, like I get that, you know, little recording icon that you can't see on the screen now, but like it blocks. It's a little bar that pretty much blocks my view of like that top right corner, and I can't like. I can do it in other you know, recording software, but the one on my for my PC and stuff like that, I don't know. I can't move it, or maybe I can, but it's not allowing me to do it just offhand. So if I'm ever just charging my stamina for like 5 seconds after it's full, that's why. All right, come on, get up. Come on. He hit you with one move. Whew.
What's happened to Eddie Guerrero? I mean,
that was close.
What are you talking about, Taz? Eddie continues to compete.
But it's a good thing they kind of edited the ladder matches after that, because that was way too close, considering I have literally no limb damage. Oh yeah, but he got up perfectly fine. I see how it is.
Oh my God, they're tearing each other apart up there.
Man, and why does he get back up so quick and easy? Yes, come on, continue to be an idiot. Yes, thank you. Oh, that's cool. They even had the urn model.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Here's your winner, Carlito. Yours, okay. Nothing beats
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
So who even sanctioned that urn match? Because I mean, like Teddy Long wasn't, you know, he's not really calling the shots anymore, and they don't really have like a GM that's. They didn't really have a replacement GM, so I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me. I don't really see Eddie Guerrero just saying, yeah, you know, like what does Eddie Guerrero have to win by putting up that urn in the ladder match? So I don't know. I remember as a kid, Carlito was actually the reason why I always wanted an afro when I was growing up, and for some reason I wanted a blonde afro. I just thought that was like the coolest thing. There was that and a mohawk. I created 2 characters in these games called Afro Man and Mohawk Man. And despite coming from 2 different backgrounds, man, they were the best of friends and a great tag team. I actually had a mohawk at one point, but mohawks, like, whenever you're a kid and you want a mohawk, you think, like, because I wanted a mohawk because of Guitar Hero and that Johnny Napalm guy. So I think, like, I was thinking, and like, okay, I'm going to get a mohawk, and I'm going to have it, like, sky high like his and stuff like that. And that was not the case, obviously, because hair can't, you know, it's not like GTA San Andreas where, you know, they grow the hair for you. And I was not patient enough for that. Plus, I mean, come on, like, I was a kid. My parents were going to let me, like, have, like, punk hairstyles going into school like that. But that's actually another series I would love to play for the channel, Guitar Hero. But I mean, for obvious reasons. I mean, like, I think it's due to the war going on in Russia or whatever. I think there's just so many songs with artists, you know, banning music in Russia that, unfortunately, you know, obviously I can't really play a good chunk of the songs because they would just be banned. And, you know, I don't think I really have that many Russian viewers, but it's still annoying. It's like, you can't, it's kind of like, you know, what are you doing to tell me what to do and who can see my stuff, YouTube? But also, obviously, just copyrights, and, you know, it might even just be something. I don't want to, like, mess with anything. They could potentially, you know, upload it, and they say, yeah, well, this is a copyright strike because you uploaded this song or whatever. So, but I don't even know if I even have it anymore. Guitar Hero, have it in me, because, also with an emulator, you know, I couldn't really play with the guitar. And, you know, playing with the controller, that's what I had to do as a kid because I was a little bit poor. And, yeah, I mean, I can't even, in, like, the last episode, I couldn't even beat freaking Kurt Angle in a submission match when he was, like, all in red and everything like that because I couldn't match the buttons or anything like that. So, I mean, I don't think I can really do that in Guitar Hero nowadays either, so I don't know if it's just that I'm getting old or maybe I was never as good at button matches as I thought, but yeah, I cannot do submission matches in this game. And I don't know if that would translate to me not being able to do the fast notes and the higher difficulties on Guitar Hero anymore either.
Look at these superstars go. It's obvious they've done their homework on it.
Although I have seen, you know, I've gotten some advice that, you know, I can use, there's the two different types of submissions in this game. Like the A submissions, I think, are the ones where you have to try and mash the buttons as fast as you can. And the B submissions are where you just mash the X button. And as long as they don't get it in the center, like blue, like meter thing or whatever, within a certain amount of time, they'll tap. Once they have like orange or red limb damage, I think it depends on your submission stat. And, you know, so I'll have to try that next time if I have another submission match I have to deal with. But man, oh man, I'm not lying when I say, like, Kurt Angle, I think he had like red legs or red hat, or like he had two red body parts that connected to each other. Oh jeez, not this again. Yeah, sorry about that. I try and avoid that, but sometimes I get a little trigger happy. Let's see if this actually ends the match. Not even close. But yeah, so you know, I had like, you know, red body parts and everything on him, and yeah, I mean, it's like literally 2 inches, like 2 centimeters, millimeters, whatever you want to say, towards the thing. And no matter how hard or fast I tried to mash the buttons, he was just making it go all the way down to the center and stuff like that. So once again, I don't know if that's submission stats or, you know, difficulty or whatever. I just don't have any more. But yeah, that was probably one of the most frustrating experiences that I've had to deal with on in a match on this channel. I'm just being honest. Plus, I mean, even if I did win, it would have just been boring as heck to watch because it would have just been 15 minutes straight, 20 minutes straight of just me doing the same submission moves over and over again so that way they could tap. So that's kind of why I skipped that, and that's probably why I'm going to skip the ones in the future too. Unless if you guys are really interested in it, I'll try my best. But I don't know. I'm kind of going with the idea that button mashing is more of a young man's game at this point in my life. It is interesting to see like reversal animations that are still left over in the series from like the Just Bring It or Smackdown 2 and stuff like that. Apparently there's even, I think I mentioned this before, there's actually, I don't know if it's still in the modern games or not, but there is a reversal animation for a reverse DDT that was, they started in Just Bring It. And apparently that's still in the games nowadays. At least it wasn't, I think, like 2K20 at the very least. Maybe 22. But I'd have to look into that because I remember it was one of the developers. He did an interview and he told them, you know, Bobby Lashley was going to have like a Road WrestleMania and Smackdown vs. Raw 2009. And he said that he wanted to remove that animation.
Good night, Irene. I think it's safe to say that this bad boy's over. And I also think it's safe to say it's curtains for Latino Heat. Hey, that's the Undertaker. But I thought you said that the guy who had the urn controlled him, right?
That's what I thought. But it looks as if that's not the case.
Oh my God!
I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's as if the Undertaker has completely ignored the power of his urn.
That's gotta be the understatement of the year, Cole. Take is totally out of control.
But how can this be? What's going on here?
That's it. Easy there, hombre muerto. Hey, Holmes. The next time, leave stealing to the experts, okay? You might have left the arena with an urn last week, but it wasn't the real one, Holmes. You got a cheap knockoff, while Latino Heat kept the genuine article.
He had a fake urn.
Eddie set him up. Not for nothing, he couldn't control the Undertaker.
Now, I don't know if you can hear me right now, Holmes. You look to me like you're in a lot of pain, ese. But don't worry, your pain's coming to an end. Soon enough, ese vato. See, this Sunday at Survivor Series, like it or not, you're going to go one-on-one with my big dead amigo here. In a buried alive match!
Oh my God. A buried alive match against The Undertaker this Sunday at Survivor Series.
Just the thought of it sends chills up my spine.
I hate to say it, but there's a man who may well be literally walking to his
Yeah,
own
we're facing The Undertaker at this point. I don't know why. I'm assuming they just didn't feel like... I could see some issues with it, like especially with JBL's limo, but for whatever reason, they just didn't want to do entrances in the buried alive matches, which is kind of cool. Because, you know, that way we already seen these entrances anyway. But yeah, now we gotta take out The Undertaker, and this is the match where if you win it, you unlock a trophy in, you know, the locker room. And obviously, if you unlock trophies, you get like special things you can buy in the shop as well as some bonus cash. So that's why I picked this storyline. Which maybe if you do team with Eddie Guerrero, maybe it still comes to the same conclusion. But this is the one I remember, so I just wanted to make sure. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like technically I'm clean in this storyline, despite the fact Carlito is usually a heel. So now I'm doing clean things, and even though this is a hardcore match, now whenever I use a weapon, I have to lose my momentum and stuff like that, which is such nonsense, man.
Carlito considers cool, and I want
What a chair shot. Reminds me of my old EC.
I also like in the cutscene too that I was just in with The Undertaker, once he swallowed the freaking urn onto my hand, he just... Like, Carlito just kind of accepted his fate and didn't even try and fight back with the choke slam or anything. He's like, alright, are we doing this?
I'm telling you, I don't think that chair's gonna be good for anything after this match.
It will always fascinates me though, the people like... Obviously, I think I've like mentioned this a few times before. It's just how I am. I like to... I guess I repeat points and stuff like that, and I like to make sure I get my thoughts out. And be honest, these playthrough videos are kind of more or less a lot of times just for me to get my thoughts out and stuff like that. But yeah, so like it's always amazing to me that people always say, you know, oh, they never gave a crap about Smackdown and stuff like that. And all sorts of stuff like that, and Raw was the dominant brand and stuff like that. And yeah, I think even in the eyes of Vince that was the case, but I think as a fan, like, it's up to you to kind of determine that as well, you know, like, yeah, there were a lot of times where they did kind of, you know, steal the Raw would take their rosters in the drafts a lot of times in the years and stuff like that. However, you know, I would say around like 2007, that was definitely the time where it was like, they still had a lot of good talent. But it was definitely the time where I can definitely argue, yeah, they're really trying to turn the tides here for Raw. But
What a counter that was.
I think that was just kind of because there were less stars at the time due to injuries and stuff, and people leaving the company and stuff like that, just in general. Plus, there was even a little bit of ECW there. But yeah, I mean, like, how can you say that, like, you know, they didn't care about SmackDown? I mean, when yes, the storylines weren't the biggest, you know, they didn't have the best storylines, but SmackDown was the wrestling show. So, I mean, yeah, you know, that's where, like, the new stars most of the time would come out, and, like, pretty much the stars that came out and actually made a difference, they usually started out on SmackDown. So, like, John Cena, Carlito, Mr. Kennedy, MVP, you know, I think that's when Eminem debuted and stuff like that. Before, you know, eventually they did go to Raw and stuff like that for, you know, storyline seasoning and, you know, to potentially become bigger stars there. But I mean, still, I mean, you had guys like around this time, like, you know, Brock Lesnar. When it first started, they had Brock Lesnar, they had Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, The Big Show. RVD was on Raw at the time. But you had big stars like that. Rey Mysterio, that's when he kind of really started to come in on it. And then later on, you know, you'd have people like Batista. And at the time, it definitely seemed like when Batista first became champion, it definitely seemed like people were more interested and he was more universally beloved than, say, John Cena as WWE champion when he first won it. So, I mean, you had Batista, and, you know, around the mid-2000, you had Batista, you had Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle. You had the Cruiserweight division at times, which, yeah, they weren't booked very well. But you definitely had some top-tier talent at times on SmackDown, and that's undeniable, but I think... I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that it's kind of the talent that really made the difference for that. At least for me. Plus, SmackDown had the way cooler set, if we're being honest. Plus the colors. I mean, the silver and the blue compared to Raw's red and black. I mean, this was definitely the peak of when the shows definitely had the different identities with the colors, the arenas. I mean, the SmackDown Fist is obviously, you know, a lot of people's favorites. And, I mean, you can't really blame them. A lot of people say it was kind of like the Nitro stage. I don't really... Maybe I could see some inspiration, but I think they were definitely different enough. Plus, I mean, like I said, that silver and blue color scheme, that's probably the coolest color scheme for a, a venue I've seen. When they changed it to, like, black and blue... I mean, it's kind of like, man, what are you doing? Why'd you have to do that to us? That was the era in which, I would definitely make the argument of, like, yeah, SmackDown's not as important anymore. It was all due to the color changes. I remember as a kid, I used to have, like, all three of the sets, the rings. They had the SmackDown, the Raw, and the ECW rings. Man, if I knew what I knew today, like I just figured, these times are endless. Who cares about preserving the rings and stuff like that? If I had that stuff nowadays, I mean, that'd be so cool, especially with the SmackDown ring. But I still do have, when I was a kid, that I actually started preserving rings and stuff like that, and action figures when I was like around 10. So I still have some things when I was like 10, like back when Mattel first started. Alright, let's see if we can put them away, though. Alright, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I was worried about the button mashing, I'm not going to lie. That is a big escape bar. He has a red head. Yeah, and he got it perfectly in the center, too. So, he was just... There was no way he wasn't... he was going to be getting in that coffin. I think your durability stat probably plays into that. But yeah, I still have like one of those, like when Mattel first came out, they had like those. I like the basic stuff. Like I don't really collect that stuff anymore because I don't really care too much for Elite action figures, and all that stuff. And it seems like, you know, with the rings nowadays, you know, like they'll come out with like 2 rings or something like that, and then they'll come out with some other new special type of ring, and it gets replaced in a few years or whatever, and it doesn't get support. You know, like when they had the main event rings, you know, I got the Raw and SmackDown ones, and then that's kind of when I learned my lesson. It was like, all right, we're not going to get any new, you know, like interchangeable things for that set. And then they had the Elite Scale ring, which for the longest time was kind of the big ring that was, you know, the high quality one that was based off of the real scale ring of the Jacks, where like it was a huge gigantic ring. And, you know, they did a pretty good job for that for a while because it was like Wicked Cool Toys or whatever that made it. And, you know, they had the interchangeable ring aprons and all this other stuff. And then they just kind of stopped supporting it. And they were supposed to have like a freaking Money in the Bank set with it, and they never came out with that. All we ever got was, I think, the steel cages, the blue and the regular one. And I don't know, that's just kind of lame to me because they could have had the Hell in a Cell, the Elimination Chamber, because I think they did have those for the real scale sets of Jax. So that was definitely something Jax did a lot better, in my opinion. But they also had some really cool ring designs too, so it made it even more tragic because they had the freaking NWO sold out ring and stuff like that, and that was really awesome. They had some Nitro ring aprons and stuff, and even nowadays, I think they actually have come out with a new type of ring. It was the Ultimate Edition rings. And, you know, they had a WCW Nitro one out. They had a Kane one that I actually have, and I got it. Like the first one they ever did was like a Mattel Creations. It was like a crowdfunding thing, and it was, you know, the New Generation era ring, and it came with the, you know, the old classic neon entranceway, you know, at that time, and that was awesome. You know, I got it, and I don't know, when I bought that, I was like, this sounded a lot cooler when it came out, because it's like, oh man, it's like just building with the ring just like how they do in WWE, and then you kind of realize, well, yeah, it's a different scale, size, and stuff like that, but it's kind of just the same thing. But it did come with an Ultimate Edition Doink the Clown and Diesel, which are exclusive, and I don't know, like those are the only ones I have, because I don't really, it's kind of like another one of those things of like, I don't want to, they're expensive, and I don't want to spend my time freaking collecting more and more things like that. And I don't have any space anymore, so that's mostly why my that was not in the thing. I don't care what anybody says, but that was kind of my figure collecting stuff was around that time. But once they kind of changed the basic action figures, that's when I stopped, because like I said, I like the basic action figures. So for example, like, because they remind me of like the classic Jack's Ruthless Aggression era ones, and I didn't really like the Deluxe Aggression era ones because they looked really goofy, and I don't have an issue with the Elite things, but I liked with the basics, you know, like they don't have they have less articulation, but they don't have like the weird lines going through their abs, and, you know, they don't have like weird wonky pieces where like their shoes and stuff like that don't fit properly, or they won't bend properly, or they have like the weird, I think they call it like pine cone freaking leg joints where, like, you know, they kind of just get stuck and you can't pose them and stuff like that. So I just like the basics. So they were simple and they were way cheaper, and I could just, if I really wanted to, I could buy an Elite version and put the freaking accessories on that. And I even made a few custom action figures, but they look terrible because, you know, I couldn't put them back together properly. But I was real big into collecting figures from like maybe 2017 to 2019 or something like that, for a few years, really. Maybe even sooner than that. But it was when I got a job and was able to pay for that stuff is when I really got into it again. And, you know, I still have all of them pretty much. You know, I have like literal gigantic containers full, but now my issue is I don't have anywhere to put them. But, you know, I also spent all that money on them and I edited them, so I mean, I can't really sell them and I don't want to. Alright, we're going to try and do the casket finisher here, but of course he's reversing me. Yeah, right, come on. And he's got no stamina. Oh my God. This is nonsense. Come on, man. But, Yeah, and I always like the basic rings too, because like they were just the ones where I could put the, set up certain scenes in, I guess. So like, plus they have the most designs. I feel like, they had this Survivor Series variation. I can't get this guy to even get in the dang casket. But I have like pretty much every, I think, basic ring set they have. That's like so like the Raw ring with the red ropes, the SmackDown with the blue ropes, the ECW, the pay-per-views like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, a few of those rings and stuff like that, SummerSlam. But it looks like this is going to be the end of the video, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's episode on Wrestling Wednesday. But above all else, please remember to have a nice day.
We have just witnessed the impossible. The Undertaker defeated in a buried alive match. Eddie Guerrero's master plan has backfired.
Wow. Check out the look on Latino Heat's mug. He's hot. He's hotter than a Mexican lunch plate. He can yell at that coffin until he's blue in his face, but that's not gonna...
Oh my God! It can't be!
What the... Eddie had the urn. How is this possible? How can the Undertaker turn on him? Looks like it's ashes to ashes for Latino Heat.
Wait a minute! He's got an urn! Then that must mean that the one Eddie had...
It was a fake, Cole. Guerrero had the fake. He must have pulled the old switcheroo on Eddie. Man, that don't happen too often.
He's giving the Undertaker back his urn!
He's a better man than me, Cole.
He did the honorable thing, Taz. But is this the last we've seen of The Undertaker?
Alright, but I did want to show you guys off the Undertaker's urn trophy you get from beating him in this match. God, that was such a pain in the ass. Oh, the furniture collection! Jeepers creepers. Oh, all that pain and suffering and annoyance was worth it. For the fucking furniture collection. Jesus Christ, saving grace, thank God. They gave me something worthwhile for all that crap. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out next week's episode on Wrestling Wednesday. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. But above all else, please remember to have a nice day.